I know. Did you miss us?
I think they did.
I
But we're
think
back.
so. We left off on what part?
Talking about the need for more natural chemistry,
Okay.
not this manufactured version of it that we then mold into compatibility issues down the line,
Okay. So
right?
I know when we were off the mics, I was saying that what did I say? That what can like is it formed? Is it possible to just have it? Like or is it something like what is chemistry? Is it do you just have it
You
or
just have it. You
okay.
just have it. Think about it. There are people in your life you can't remember when they came into your life or why they came into your life because they
Okay.
felt like they've always been there,
That's
right?
true. Oh.
The problem with relationships is we never allow that feeling to happen naturally. We try to force it.
And that's where we mess things up.
You know what natural chemistry is?
What is it?
Natural chemistry is that carnal feeling you feeling when you see him and you be like, you know what? I'd fuck him.
Oh gosh. How what hold on. Give me a second.
Take a minute right there.
I gotta take a minute. I mean, I seen a couple of people and I said they can get it.
They can get it. Now, I'll retract part of that statement.
Okay, because
That's a part of natural chemistry,
okay,
right? Carnal gut feeling,
gotcha.
right? Which is stimulated by what we see.
Hmm.
We complicate it by what we know.
And what we learned, and I feel that it not even
You, you
it's
with a
second.
stranger, it's not what you learn, right? So with for like a first, you see them and the connection, right? Now people don't want to think that's chemistry because it's so vile. It's hey, I'd fuck them, right? So we instantly disregard that. We don't want no parts of that.
Okay,
We don't want to think that it's that easy for us, right? So now we start to now transfer to, well, what do we know about this person that will allow me to do it?
you
Because I
don't
can't.
know anything. I
You
don't
don't know
know.
anything, but
I don't know him.
your feelings originally didn't matter, right? So chemistry can take you to places where you don't have no control, and you'll try to snatch that control back.
I'm starting not to like this episode because I may have chemistry with somebody, and
I
I'm
mean,
trying to control a lot.
why?
Because it's not
What could come from that if you try to lock everything into what
I
you
feel
want it
like
to
it's
be in your
supposed
mind?
to be.
The great Thanos said, "As long as there are people that knows what was, we'll never know what things can be."
Just take
Thanos was a poet. We didn't even know it.
just took it all.
Right. Snap. Take all that shit from y'all. I ain't appreciating. Look, no, but seriously though, like I, chemistry, I think chemistry scares people.
It really does. That's why I
Like
was
that
saying.
feeling like, why do I feel so comfortable with you? And then you start to push back.
Yep.
That's chemistry.
Okay.
And you want to control chemistry and you can't.
But then when you try, that's when you mess things up. And then that person that could have been your soulmate or, is
I
gone.
don't even say soulmate because you'll have a million soulmates in life.
I mean, for different reasons, yeah. So that person that you had as we say, you
If
had
we
chemistry with.
if we just take the rails of expectations off our interactions with each other, what will come from that would be so beautiful. The good and the bad. Because that's what it's supposed to be. That's how life is. You're trying to control something that does everything on its own regardless.
So if we take away expectations, right?
Mhm.
What are our like not our goals, but what should our focus points be on?
Getting to know a human being that you're going to share your space with, whether it's platonic or relationship emotional.
Okay.
Like, just learn a motherfucker, build and get to know a person. You know what I'm saying? Like, know their likes and talk to them and see what they've been through, understand their story. When the fuck we stop listening to each other and talking to each other? Really, seriously.
When smartphones came in.
Fuck a
What?
smartphone.
I
Before
mean,
that,
when uh I
no?
I
Or maybe
guess I will.
smartphones.
I feel
I
like
mean, but smartphones back in the day, you couldn't text like that.
you
Your
couldn't because
bill
it
be
cost
nine.
it was
Your bill be
10
$900. So you had to still talk. So you can't say smartphones, nigga. My Sprint bill was $500 because I was on that bitch to Maryland talking to my girl all the time.
Hold on, true story. No free stay. I remember my voicemail. It'd be like, if you're calling before seven
N-
o'clock, we
Got
can't
called
talk.
on them night minutes, nigga. What's up?
If you call,
Hey,
we
them
can't.
unlimited. Hey,
I'm
them,
not
you got to call me back
not
after 9. Sprint was 9. Them unlimited minutes that
no, but
starts
I
at
got
9.
7. My grandparents got that 7 o'clock on
Yeah, you
Sprint.
paid the extra
Yep.
$20, nigga.
So it's like
I wasn't
there's
giving
3 reasons why I'm not answering my phone. 1, I'm in class. 2, it's not after 7 p.m. And 3, maybe I just don't want to talk to you.
If you didn't understand that, we ain't had no chemistry anyway. If you didn't understand my night minutes were were imperative to our conversation, we didn't have no chemistry.
No, but
What is it?
I feel like phones. I feel like cell phones play.
Nah, you still had to talk to somebody though.
But you was sitting on your house phone though.
Nah, I'm talking about even with cell phones. Like I
Oh,
said, the original cell phones, I mean, like my cell phone from the 90s, not them bag shits from the 80s. But then my cell phone from the 90s and early 2000, you won't texting like that.
no, you
You had
wasn't.
you had a triple click to text.
And then Snake, the game Snake was
Yeah, the triple, two to get to C and shit.
coming.
You know what I mean?
It took too
So
long.
you still had to talk. You still
And
had to
that's
talk.
and we don't talk anymore.
We don't
Every
have no fucking
every
conversations no more.
everything is emojis and
We don't even know how to talk. You
we
think
don't.
we couldn't even talk pre-COVID? How you think it's gonna be COVID over when we not behind the mask no more?
I feel like that's another reason why too. Like especially this time, I always felt like during
Shout
COVID,
out,
a lot
shout
of
out to
people.
all the girls that look good with just a mask on.
Oh God, stop it! See, I can't even. I was saying, I felt like, with COVID, those were the relationships where you figured out, like, are you, as you said, do you all have chemistry? Can you handle being in the pandemic and not seeing the person and based off of community and building off of communication?
Why are we still looking for chemistry? That's another problem right there. Why are we still looking for it? You can't
That's
look
what
for it.
we as women do.
God damn it, y'all are exhausting.
I mean, I've learned that it happens. I really did. I always say with this situation, it happened.
You
I
know
did
what's
something that wasn't expected.
you know what's funny? You guys literally will agree to you guys will understand that all this shit applies to everything but your relationships with men.
And that's true.
You're always where you're supposed to be. God don't make no mistakes. All these mantras you give for living your life don't apply to your relationships with men. Why? Why?
I feel I
Make
don't know. I'm
how
trying to
sway?
find something.
Make it make sense.
What we were taught.
Oh God. You know
I
what?
feel like it's learned behavior. That's
We
that
need to bring back the
sociology coming
drop. We need to Spike Lee. I need to drop squad, bruh. Yeah, gotta tune y'all. Gotta retune y'all.
I feel like it's learned behavior.
But
It's
you know what's
we don't
crazy?
we don't think to mention things like that. Or like I said, I was taught to get ready for a husband, prepare for a husband.
Did
Not
they
to say
prepare you for if your life never had one?
yeah,
See,
no.
that's what I'm saying. No, they didn't prepare you for a life if you never had one. So now, because you don't know that there is a life without one, that simple lesson of teaching you how to live a life without one
Would have helped with a lot of
would
my
have helped
depression. Would
and
help with a whole
would have helped with a lot of your decisions.
yes.
Because if you had known that there was a life of a very vibrant, happy life filled with abundance without a husband, you wouldn't have pressed the expectation of any man that you sought long term to fill that role.
That's true.
Ow.
That's true. You're
This is
right.
what we walk into though. Especially if you a person like myself who believes like, yo, I'm not in a rush for anything because you have to understand how this vulnerability comes out first, right? And it's too easy for me to have untethered connection to you. I could do that all day. I'm easy. That's easy.
Yeah.
I used to laugh at this meme that said, I will fuck the shit out of you and still be your friend. Because
And
it's no
I
because
know
it's no
guys like
emotion there.
that.
It's
I
no,
know guys like that. And
it's
other
no
women,
emotion
we're
there.
like, oh my gosh, I'm so in love with him. I need him. Why is he doesn't understand?
Because you are not in that position because you've now you've now set a standard of this expectation. He knows he's not going to meet it in a timetable that you want it, but you're still giving the milk away for free
And so
because you like him.
let's briefly get into that intimacy and being intimate and that chemistry.
You can't do it. You can't even follow you can't even allow that to happen because as soon as you feel it, you want to control it. And you start saying shit like, I don't know him. I can only be this certain way with certain men.
Because it's taught. I will say
Right.
that it's taught.
That's why
Like,
I said everybody needs a little more Samantha in their life. She saw something she wanted, she went and got it.
but it's those titles. A woman that sleeps around is a hoe.
Who calls you that?
What?
Other women?
No. Well, I don't know. Sometimes the girls will call. Look.
Right. Like here's a
No.
like, but here's the thing: you're not gonna please nobody. So why not please yourself?
And we go back to when I briefly talked about when I turned 30. When I turned 30, that's when I realized that, like, you know what? I'm gonna do the things that make me happy, regardless of what anybody else says.
But that's another fucked up part. On several different episodes and times we've had conversations, I've heard you call yourself a people pleaser, but you have never been the main person.
No,
Why? Make it make sense.
I can't.
You can change your thinking, change
I
your
mean,
life.
I can now,
Oh
but
my god!
before then, I can't because that was always me. I was taught to
I'm
make
so glad you free.
happy.
Show me your freedom papers real quick. I'm so glad you got them.
Freedom.
Like I don't understand why you don't feel like there can't be this happiness and life abundance without these check boxes checked off.
But again,
You kill chemistry.
for me, it was always knowing that I lost my stepfather when I was 13. And then a couple of years after, I lost my mom. So for me, it was let me make you happy because if I know that I'm making you happy, you won't leave. So regardless of how I feel, if I feel like you're the one, I'm going to try to do everything. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to try to
I'm not gonna rock the
tiptoe
boat.
around everything
Is that
because
living your truth?
no, it's not. It's not.
Mm, mm, mm. Who wants to live like that?
I don't not no more. Shoot. That is stressful. That's hard to do.
I totally believe that you can have chemistry anywhere because that's how chemistry happens.
Hmm.
And I don't think that chemistry should be delimited to um relationships or friendships. You can have chemistry in and intimacy. You can have chemistry in intimacy and have no real connection to a person because again, when you're trying to establish your connection, you're trying to control what comes about naturally.
I will say this. I agree with that because a previous person that I talked about how I was dealing with somebody for what I say for 2 years. And then
Hmm.
when I asked about where like the relationship thing, it was like we're friends. But we had that chemistry. We didn't have any issues until I pushed the relationship thing. And the only reason I pushed it is because
You thought
I
that's where it was supposed to go.
no. The only reason I pushed it is because of stupid Facebook.
What the fuck?
I seen a woman post on his page and she was flirty. So I was like, "Are they talking?" And the way he commented back, I could tell that they were dealing with each other. So I got my feelings.
Well,
Not
this
even 2 years later. Everything's fine. Him and I fine. We hang out. That's what I said. We hung out. We would do stuff together. I never anything that I asked him to come to or support, he was there, vice versa. I helped him move into his place. He helped me move into my place. We was cool. Like things were not bad. Like I used to cook and I used to bring him food to work and then drive back home. Not think anything of it.
mm.
Nothing. I'll be like, I'm cooking. Hey, are you at work or are you at home? I'm at work. All right. When I get done cooking and get the kids settled and everything, I
And
drive
what did
over
you
there.
and what did you confuse all these actions as?
I thought that because in my head, we were working towards a relationship.
You thought you was auditioning.
Yep.
There was no casting call yet. Because here's the thing: if he was that good of a catch, you're definitely not the only one. Any listen, there's a hard truth. If you got any guy that you mean he's decent, he looks good, and he appears to have all this shit together, you are now the newest person who has introduced yourself into his
That's
life, and he has to try to figure out who he likes, and all of y'all are pushing for the same thing, and he can't be honest that he is dating or in communication with other women because they were already there before you showed up.
that's true.
And here's the thing: you're amazing. He found you. You're amazing. You're in his life now. Y'all have connected somehow. That real chemistry happened right there. Holy shit, right? But yeah, there are other people doing the same shit. So he has to choose. But y'all all demanding the same thing from him, and he doesn't have the ability to make that type of decision. That's y'all lane. And even though y'all not that good at that sometimes.
And
But I mean, but look, but I'm saying, so you know, chemistry, man, God, it's
and
not
that
to
and honestly, like I said, that was the one thing I felt like I it could we could have talked for years. Like even now, if we talk, where it's no animosity, it's nothing
take the
at all.
guardrails off, people, man. It just let shit happen as it's supposed to. Y'all so time constrained, so time oriented, so it gotta be this way. This how
Yep,
it's
it has
supposed to
to.
be. And like you're stripping everything away from what would make this potential interaction sustainable.
Yep, 2 years. 2 years. And I saw the post and I cut it. If we
When
not
y'all
but you know what? That's and one of my friends that I had, she used to say that was my issue. I would go with the flow, and then it'll come to that point where I felt like things weren't in my control, and I hit somebody with the, so what is this? And she'd be like, "That's where you mess up at."
I don't think that you don't necessarily have to shy away from that conversation, but you don't use that conversation as leverage.
But
You
that's
don't
what I used
hold you don't hold that conversation as a establishment point or anything like that. You have that conversation naturally throughout the process about, hey, because here's the thing. It's like once you say it, it has to happen now.
to. Yep,
You can't just gauge how you feel the connection is going. Like
that's true.
you'll fill out a survey for some bullshit you brought online, but you can't gauge how the connection is going because as soon as you admit how you feel about the connection, time to speed it up. You're not on my you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And here's the thing. You said he went with the girl that you
Well, no, he didn't. I just seen a post.
So yeah, they might have been dating. They might have been kicking it
I
or
think they
seeing
were
each other.
based off of the post. I think they were dating. I don't know how serious it was, but I think
Okay, first of all, dating is a what? Dating is a verb, something we do.
yes.
Dating is not a
I
status.
I know this now. I know this now. I know this now.
Dating is not a status.
Don't forget, I dated with a purpose, sir. Dated with a purpose.
A hell of an intentful purpose. Lock down the rest of your life. I'm just thinking about like how many bomb interactions have women or men have tossed away because there's men out there that try that are like that because they're trying to control every aspect and don't let natural chemistry happen as it should.
We don't. We really don't.
And some nights are meant to be that night only. Not necessarily saying it has to end with sex. I'm just saying that sometimes that night, that interaction is just supposed to be that time.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't. When you let natural chemistry happen, you understand that everything doesn't have to be held on to. Because when you let go, if it's meant to be, it will. Like it's like that picture, right? I've seen it a couple of times. It's like Jesus, like God, or the form of Jesus is holding a big teddy bear behind his back, right? But he's asking you to let go of the little teddy bear that you got, and you're clutched to it, right? You can't let go for something better because you want to control what you know.
That's definitely true. And honestly, this discussion, I feel like we need to come back to. So a part two of this.
I love the sequels. Let's do
Sequels.
it. I love
We definitely
sequels.
can. So on that note, what are you concluding with part one?
That chemistry is natural, and I think that we should learn to embrace that more. Like, stop trying to control every aspect of how we live, feel, and think because that shit is exhausting, man. I just wish for more freedom for folks and how they think and perceive things. Really, chemistry, compatibility, the ability to be of complement. All of those things are not mutually exclusive. And all of them don't apply to every situation in your life,
That's true.
and you don't get to Venn diagram them shits and extract from what you need to justify your bullshit. That's my thought. Thanks for coming to my TED talk.
For me, chemistry, compatibility, communication. It all happens when you let the guardrail down.
We let the guardrails down, man.
You can't have that equation.
Ain't no guardrails on the autobahn.
Nope.
Fastest road in the world.
In order to have that equation, in order to have that chemistry, you have to let the guardrails down.
Yeah, man. Like, if you try to, and there's nothing good that comes out of trying to control something that you can't naturally control.
Yeah.
Period. Can't nothing good come from that. I know some people right now are listening to this podcast and they don't want to admit that about decisions in their life. But that decision happened because you try to control something that you shouldn't have. Think about
I'm
that.
notorious for it. And
Think about that. And
and
on that
how
note,
how can we
you
find you, Twan?
know you can find me on IG at my shit is pure comedy. Cause he go get these jokes.
All right, and I want to take the time to shout out Greg. Greg came up with this whole concept, the episode. Actually are splitting it. So thanks, Greg, friend to the show, for coming up with this. You guys, if you have any topics that you want to talk about, send us a message on our IG page, which is Disaster Dating 101 Podcast. You can find us on YouTube at Disaster Dating 101 Podcast. We are on Twitter at Disaster Date 101, and you can find me at Natasha Renee underscore the creator. Like I said, I want to thank you guys for listening. Please share, subscribe, listen to the podcast. We have so many great things coming. Thank you guys so much.
We
So
appreciate
so
y'all.
much. We definitely appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for listening. and good night.
Good night.